So testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Got it. Thank you, thank you. All right. $30 lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena. Adonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Nekad Mafana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai.
Hello, I did not put my mic on yet, so let me do this. No, okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, sort of, okay. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for coming during spring break. That's where even those who are too old to be in school still are off on their cruises. I know our Tanakh class is taking quite a hit based on international cruise travel, but that's okay. You guys are allowed. You're allowed to go other places. Don't try not to do it too often. And hello, Belle. I don't, whatever. Okay. I would say thank you to Matthew Meyer, but he's on spring break. So they are off skiing while we're enjoying our warm Florida weather. So that's where he is. Thank you to our musical service leaders, Andy Sussman and Ruth Pavlo, to Xavier Leff, who is working our tech, enabling us to hear, and for enabling those who may be watching at home. It's so nice to be back in our own sanctuary, our own beautiful TBO sanctuary this week. Missed it last week. And all right, I'll mess with this later. Let's light our Shabbat candles and get things started. Sandy Lobel, please come forward to lead us in candle lighting. It is in your prayer book on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, God, source of all life, who brings us holiness through mitzvot and who has given us the mitzvah of lighting the Shabbat candles. Amen.
Thank you.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. We continue with one of the songs that welcomes the Shabbat day, L'Chadodi, written as a poem that envisions the Shabbat day as a beautiful bride coming into our midst. It is on page 138, and on the final verse, we rise and face the door and welcome the Shabbat bride, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Shomo v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmeyanu el am yuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'li tehila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'necha, Ki mekor ha'bracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maseh b'machsheva techila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Oi v'shalom, Ateret bala, Gam b'simcha uv'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela.
You may be seated. Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yivarach rutei v'yamlech malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yemeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam alal me'al maya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudesha berichu, le'elam min kol verchata, v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damihiran bi'alma, v'yemeru amen. Baruch Hu is on page 146, and if you're able, you may rise.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la.
You may be seated. On page 150, we find ahavat olam, ahava. The word for love is a word that often comes up in our prayers. And in this case, and pretty soon we'll have v'ahavta. In this case, ahavat olam talks about the love that God feels for our world, and that Torah is one of the prized gifts that has been presented to us out of divine love. So Ahavat Olam, page 150.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema, page 152, our line from Torah that sums up really a lot of the values that we find within it. Godliness unifies all living things. God weaves through all people, through all that lives on this earth. If you are able, you may rise for Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. And Shema is immediately followed by V'ahavta in our Torah, page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. Page 158, and also on your song sheet are Michamocha, the words of joy, exclaimed, sung, danced by our ancestors as they were set free from Egypt, set off into an unknown future. Michamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לי לי לי, יא לי 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 לי, יא לי לי לי, יא לי 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 לי, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
Vishamru, page 162, also from Torah, the book of Exodus that we finish up this week. And Shabbat is a sign of the loving relationship between God and the Jewish people. This Shabbat day is about remembering that partnership that continues. So Vishamru is on page 162.
We're going to do a different melody today by Debbie Friedman. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי Shabbat, Shabbat, vayinafash, Shabbat, Shabbat, vayinafash, Shabbat, Shabbat, vayinafash.
Our central portion of our worship service, the tefillah, begins on page 164. It is also the kavanah, the little meditation before the tefillah, is also on your song sheet. If you're able, you may rise.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole, and we will praise your name. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'Neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishefar Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach Melach Memid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nemanat alachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We take a moment for silent reflection, the prayers in our prayer book or with the prayers of our hearts, and we continue either standing or sitting.
Ose shalom bimrumav. Ose shalom bimrumav. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Aleinu. Ose shalom bimrumav. Ose shalom bimrumav. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Aleinu. Ose shalom.
We think of all of those who are in need of healing, emotional healing, physical healing, those in our own community and all across the globe. On this Shabbat, we especially think of Paul Aronson, David Appel, Avraham ben Roiza, Shlomo Betzalel ben Avraham, Ethan Campbell, Sandra Chesler, Brian Clohessy, Randy Clohessy, Jay Crystal, Terry Darmody, Rosa Bat Shmuel Uvat Sheva, Sandra Friedland, Shar Friedman, Rachel Galazan, Ronnie Gross, Marsha Hopp, Sarah Ann Hopp, Tracy Janetta, Alma Kalish, Julian Canner, Marion Kostrinsky, Shelley Lehner, Howard Longan, Mark Merberg, Lila Nelson, Harriet Radin, Arnold Reamer, Rosalie Saltiel, Louise Samuels, Jason Sherman, Bobby Sherman Geishan, Jody Michael Simmons, Robin Stein, Katie Weinstock, Lori Weinstock. Are there others we especially wish to think of at this time? We continue with our prayer for healing, Misha Beirach, which is on your song sheet.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, Hu yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim. Misheberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, Hu yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim. El narefanala, el narefanala, el narefanala, el narefanala. Misheberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, Hu yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim.
I always found it confusing that the idea of the centrality and the special holiness of Jerusalem and Israel to Jews didn't seem to go together with this idea that we have as Jews, that God is everywhere. There's a saying from one of the early Hasidic teachers, where is God? Wherever you let God in. So how does that exactly fit with the idea of a sanctuary that we have so we can pray in it, the idea of this holiness that is going to Jerusalem and even perhaps the Western Wall, really specifically, and offering thoughts to God. You know, is God everywhere, or is really God in certain places? Maybe God has a second house somewhere that God spends a week in, but otherwise, I don't know. How does this work? So it's important to remember that Judaism is a yes and religion, not a no but religion, meaning we don't insist on ideas and concepts and beliefs as fitting into strict exclusive categories. We can embrace a number of ideas and are not terribly concerned if they don't fit together neatly, because life is messy, thoughts are messy, ideas are messy. We can embrace both the idea that we can access God, whatever that word God means to you, anywhere, and also we can see certain places as lending themselves maybe exceptionally easily to a sense of spirituality. And we see that embrace of both these ideas that might seem conflicting, but we embrace both of them. We see them both in this week's Torah portion, which is the final portion of the book of Exodus, Parashat Pekudei. So there's an idea in the Torah that there's this portable space, a mishkan, which comes from the root that means dwelling, like basically a dwelling place for God. Sometimes it's called like a traveling ark, a tabernacle. Sometimes we have this phrase that means the tent of meeting. whatever. The whole idea is that God's presence can be experienced officially, I guess, and communally at this special place. Now, over the past number of weeks, we've been reading in the Torah, sometimes with way too much detail, the instructions for this very awesome construction project. The instructions, the details, they've been, how to collect the items that go into it, how to build it, how to craft it, the sewing, the weaving, all the various arts that have to go into this holy mobile sanctuary for the Israelite people. Now, it's highly unlikely that this is historical. This is a historical story, if that makes sense. Really, these parts about the tabernacle seem more to relate to the temple, which comes much later after Israelites were already settled in Jerusalem, but that doesn't matter, whatever. It still makes a very powerful Jewish story and a powerful metaphor for us. So you have to remember, in the ancient world, usually you had a sacred place, a pole, a rock, something that a culture would designate as this is the central part of the earth that is connected most greatly with heaven. This idea that there's this earth-heaven, what's that called? I'm just thinking of Star Trek for some reason, but, Yeah, portal, thank you. That's the word I could not pull out of my brain. Sort of this portal, and you had to go there. Okay, so that's probably culturally what was generally going on at the time. Now, in the Torah, of course, there's so many interesting things. The Torah mostly takes place with people who are wandering from point A to point B. They're not in point A for very long in terms of the book, and they never get to point B in the Torah. They're almost there. It's pretty much about a people that are in this kind of limbo state, which is interesting in and of itself. But you have to remember, they just left Egypt, and they're feeling very unmoored and very disoriented and, lost for very good reason. They need something tangible to hang on to. We just had the Torah portion where they supposedly throw their gold in, and this golden calf comes in, and they're all dancing around the golden calf, and God doesn't like this, but at least God seems to learn through this story that people need something tangible. Human beings can't exist in this abstract. We're material beings in a material world, to quote Madonna, but it's true. So the thing about the Mishkan is that we can feel God's presence in this place, but the place moves with us. The place doesn't stay in one place. I mean, that's kind of what's really interesting about the Torah story of this temple versus the historical reality of the temple, which was kind of planted in Jerusalem in one spot and doesn't move. In the Torah, it goes where we go. And what an important message there is in this. God is wherever the community gathers to live in godly ways. Still true. In fact, the building of the Mishkan, everything that went into all the material that was then sort of envisioned by this amazing artist, Bezalel, to put it all together, that material could only come from people whose hearts moved them to bring the material. So this is odd in Torah, I think. I mean, it's possible it's somewhere else, but I'm not sure where else it is. This idea that people can only participate in this if their heart moves them to do it. I can't think of any other place in Torah that sounds like that, so that's just kind of interesting. So, one message here is that God's presence can be felt when you are among others who feel called to holiness, who desire to live godly values, that there's something about this positive intention that is needed to really feel a godly presence. Again, whatever that means to each of you, because what a godly presence is going to mean something different to everybody in this congregation. Now, there's another really interesting piece of the story. If you go back to the very beginning of the Torah, where the world is created, at the conclusion of the Genesis story of creation, we read, God saw all that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And God completed on the seventh day the work that he did, and he blessed the seventh day. Okay, so that's what it said way back there. Let's look at this week's Torah portion about the construction of this Mishkan, of this mobile tabernacle. The Israelites completed all the work as God had instructed Moses. Moses saw all the work, and behold, they had done it just as God had instructed, so Moses blessed them. These two stories are purposely written the same. So in the first, God is making a beautiful space in which human beings can grow and thrive. In this week's story in Exodus, human beings are creating a beautiful space in which godliness can grow and thrive. So it's the same story, but in one, God's making us a home. In the other, we're making God a home. And it's clear. Our holy spaces are not just places to pray and sing. The holy spaces that human beings are to create are places in which we best bring our godly values. We live out from our hearts and our souls and our minds our loftiest ideas through all the ways that we speak and we act to other people, how we treat our planet. Creation is not something that happened in the past. Creation, our tradition teaches, is ongoing. We are always called. We need to make, we have a strong tradition that God and humanity are co-partners in creation, and that creation happens every day. We need to create a godly space every day by opening our hearts and our minds and our hands and our arms to create spaces for God and humanity to live our best life. Amen. Rob Baumel is our duty trustee this evening, telling us what's going on at TBO now that spring break is drawing to a close.
Yes, and half the congregation will be returning.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we are the ones here, so we are it today, and Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rob Baumel, one of your trustees, and what we've got it going on in the immediate future. Oh, by the way, Thank you to the rabbi. Wonderful sermon.
Right?
Yes, we are in the house. And Andy, beautiful music. Beautiful music. And Xavier, I'm sure you're keeping everybody connected. So thank you, Ruth, and thank you, everyone. So what's up for us in the immediate future is there's a Torah discussion on Zoom tomorrow. There's still that new Zoom link, so if you look in your emails, you'll be able to find it. And on April 4th, we've got Shabbat Family Service, grade 6 and 7 co-leads, and there's an Androff baby naming, so baby namings are wonderful. April 5th, Mason Suarez has his bar mitzvah here, another blessing. And April 6th, we have a congregational meeting. You've all gotten an email, I take it, about the congregational meeting, and our president has said that this is one of the most important meetings in the history of the temple, and I'll go even further than that, and I will say that I personally, not as a trustee, but just as a member, and having seen the process, I think that the temple is going to be fantastically pleased with what's going on. I think that there's some really good stuff coming for us and to us, and I urge you all to be at the April 6th meeting. I think bagels are at 9:30 and the meeting starts at 10. So we have that on the 6th, and on the 12th is the Erev Pesach. Boy, it's coming fast. The 13th and the 14th being Passover, there's no religious school, no sisterhood, and no Majan. April 16th is an executive board meeting, and the 18th is Shabbat wine and cheese and a Shabbat service. So that's what we have ahead of us. Please come to the April 6th meeting. It's going to be fantastic. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. And Rob's been here all day working on our sanctuary and building, so thank you for that. What else? I don't remember what I was going to say, so we'll just move it along. Who's opening the Ark? Sophie Pollock will be opening our Ark, Aleinu, on page 586. And you may rise. I'm also on a mission in the 3 months before I leave to make sure our congregation knows how to open their Ark. It way predates me, but no one knows how to open it. So 45-degree angle. You see this? Remember geometry? Like back in, for me it was the 70s, but 45-degree angle. This is not going anywhere if this isn't at a 45-degree angle. Pull, push, tuck. There you go. It'll... 45-degree angle. That's all you got to know. Look at this, 45-degree angle. Woo! See, easy. I will be reviewing this for 3 months, and we will get there. I have faith. Okay, sorry.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו ושמו אחד.
Pull, push, tuck. I do that with the religious school kids. Pull, push, tuck. Excellent. We're going to get there. I know it.
Take photos of it.
Yeah, a diagram, 45 degrees. Thank you. Yasher koach. You may be seated. You didn't think you'd use geometry in your future. Were you wrong? And we remember all those who are no longer with us, those who brought so much of themselves to us, to family, to friends, to the community, to the world. They live on in our hearts, in our memories, in all the ways that they brought their unique gifts to our world. On this Shabbat, during his time of Shloshim, we remember our former TBO member, Glenn Smoller, and those whose yahrzeits fall this week: Perry Aronson, Lottie Altman, Max Bauman, Maxine Beer, Jerome Blum, Solomon Sonny Heifetz, Lawrence Cohen, Senta Duker, Fred Gordon, Ada Gordon, Jerome Greenspan, Milton Kaplan, excuse me, Joseph Lord, Shana Marks, Dr. Bertha Offenbach Feinberg, Anita Rodkin, Sam Shack, Rosina Caracos Meraldi, Madeline Weil, Bill Wasserman. Are there others we wish to remember on this Shabbat? We honor all their memories with Mourner's Kaddish on page 598, and you may rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divarach irutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmeid kudsha berichu. La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiran bialma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'romav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. V'imru, 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 amen. V'imru, 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 amen. You may be seated. And we move from our sacred prayer of memory to the joy of the Shabbat day, as symbolized with wine/grape juice and challah. So I'd like to call up David Pinsley to help with Kiddush. I carried this tray with one hand, and I didn't even break anything. That is a miracle. Don't say there's no miracles. Okay, now, where is the, just a sec, let me get the Kiddush sheets. There is yours. Kiddush is on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lanikroei kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki banu bacharta Vyotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Amen.
L'chaim. Good grape juice. Good vintage. Okay.
Good wine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. There you go. And we have no religious school students here tonight, but if you want a sticker, you may get a sticker. And bye, thank you, Yasher Koach, to David. And we conclude with Adon Olam, an old favorite, page 625 in your prayer book.
Adon Olam asher malach בטרם כה יציר נברא לאי נעשה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא עלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת אישן ואירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירה.
Shabbat Shalom. Join us for Oneg.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.